Looking back on the year 2015, I've learned so many incredible lessons, and I want to share a few of those with you. The first lesson I learned was about faith. Faith is a choice. It's illogical. That's why it's called faith. God and what happens in our lives isn't always going to make sense to us. And denouncing my faith in God every time something doesn't go my way is not faith. When I didn't have faith, I was lifeless, miserable, and life had absolutely no meaning. When I chose to have faith again, I was happy, I was peaceful, I was me. The second lesson I learned was about identity. Over the summer, I had the unique and wonderful opportunity to go to DC and intern with Voice of America. I stayed in a house with about 30 other students and basically had to fend for myself for the first time in my life. As you can imagine, it was difficult being in an unfamiliar place, especially with unfamiliar people, but it was truly a blessing because it challenged me in my independence and taught me how to be an individual. There were a lot of influences and a lot of different choices I could have made, being away from my parents and void of any real responsibility, but I stayed true to myself, took advantage of my circumstance, found a church nearby, and had a really beautiful summer. Being in that unfamiliar environment also opened my eyes to the different perspectives and experiences of not only my coworkers at VOA, but also my fellow UGA students who were my housemates. I will cherish that summer for a very long time. Another lesson I learned this year was about love. Love is something I was reminded of as I started off the year with very little of it. Since my senior year of high school, I had adopted love as my life's motto, my passion, and my way of life. I had become so comfortable with calling love my passion, but I was not living that way at the very beginning of the year. I was angry easily, I was resentful, and I harbored hatred toward people, including my family members. I thought negatively about a lot of things, and ultimately, I was a very loveless person. It took God slapping me upside the head with some hard truth from His Word for me to get my act together and head back on the path of love. 1 John chapter 3 verse 18 says, "Dear children, let's not merely say that we love each other, let us show the truth by our actions." In chapter 4 verse 7, it says, "Dear friends, let us continue to love one another, for love comes from God. Anyone who loves is a child of God and knows God, but anyone who does not love does not know God, for God is love." And finally, 1 Corinthians 13 says love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wrong. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. After reading those verses, I realized that those were things that I absolutely was, and that was a hard lesson to learn, but an integral part of my year and who I've become as a result. The last lesson that 2015 taught me was about contentment. Toward the end of this year, during the last semester of school, life was super tough. From debts in my family to academic stress and everything in between, I had gotten to the point where I was so tired of everything and everyone, and I just wanted life to end. This isn't me saying that I was suicidal and wanted to die. More so, I was ready for this life to end so that I could start my eternal life in heaven. I wanted Jesus to come so badly, whereas in the past I wouldn't think much of it. I had dreams of becoming a motivator and having a husband and kids, but I didn't care about any of it if it meant that Jesus would come and I could leave this pain-stricken earth. Let me tell you, discontentment is a very dangerous thing. If you're never happy with where you are and always waiting for something else to happen, life will never be enjoyable. Don't get me wrong, I still would very much like for Jesus to come, but I'm learning to be satisfied in my current season and make the most of life while I have it. Life is super hard, but with a support system, a community of believers that encourages you, and a strong faith in the Lord, you will get through.
We did it! It's 2016! Let's do it again.